14 most exotic pets people own. 14. The slow loris. Do not be fooled by this teddy bear-looking mammal. The slow loris might look as harmless as a sloth or koala, but they are in fact one of the most venomous mammals on the planet. Even if most pet slow lorises have clipped teeth, while people are known to keep them as pets, you are advised to not do so since they're difficult to take care of and are in danger of extinction. You have to feed them specific fruits and insects, otherwise they risk developing a whole array of health problems. And with a nocturnal animal as a pet, unless you work nights, it might be hard to play with them as much as you like. 13. The kinkajou. Again, another adorable exotic pet that most people are encouraged to not keep as pets. The kinkajou is typically found in the rainforest, which means replicating their natural environment is difficult to do. What's more is that they often injure their owners and any other people that come into contact with them, which could result in that person getting sick if a kinkajou bites them. They do look really cute though, and seem koala-like in the way they like to hold on, but you should probably stay away unless you have the means to make your home into a rainforest and you can keep minimal contact with them. 12. Scorpions. It's funny because when you come across a scorpion in your home, it's either a terrifying ordeal that involves a lot of boxes or brooms, or it's just you looking in on your pet scorpion tank fondly. And scorpions are actually quite popular to keep as pets. You might have even had a pet scorpion at school. There's thousands of species of scorpions, so be sure to pick the one that's appropriate to keep for you. 11. The wallaby. Having a pet wallaby looks like it's similar to having a kangaroo as a pet, but not as jacked and a little cuter. In the wild, wallabies are found in places like New Guinea and Australia. It's relatively easy to house a wallaby. It's just recommended that you have lots of space for your pet to jump around in. You don't have to worry about super aggressive wallabies since wallabies are herbivores and feed on grass and fruits, but do be aware, they still have a propensity to kick and bite as a way of defense against predators and threats. If they're raised by a human and reared with a bottle, a wallaby will bond with that human taking care of them. 10. Giraffes. Even though giraffes are not commonly kept as pets, a lot of people have seen giraffes face to face as they're popular to have at zoos. They are vulnerable to extinction, which makes their population's relationship to humans extremely delicate. In places like South Africa, it's a lot more common than in other parts of the world for a giraffe to be taken care of by humans. But even in those other parts of the world, like the United States, people have been known to keep them as pets, though their dispositions are said to be friendly, intelligent, and playful. 9. The fennec fox. Mainly recognizable for their huge, swooping ears, the fennec fox is a nocturnal animal that's more native to the deserts of the Sahara. Because of their small stature and cute features, fennec foxes are beloved pets by many. When it comes to their behavior, they're often compared to being both cat-like as well as dog-like. Even though they're carnivorous wild animals, most people who have a fennec fox as a pet will tell you how much they love to play and how little they smell. Being a fox might scare some people, but apparently they love to be petted. 8. Tarantulas. Most people, even if they're not arachnophobes, are not super fond of spiders, least of all one of the biggest spiders in the world. Sure, they have a venomous bite, but nothing that's said to be super harmful to humans, as their venom is more targeted for smaller animals. Depending on the type of tarantula, they are said to be quite good pets and require little energy to keep entertained and looked after. Actually, you shouldn't handle your tarantula too much unless you're really knowledgeable on how to do so properly. 7. Hippopotamuses. What's strange is that hippos are much more dangerous pets to have than a tarantula or a fennec fox. While a hippopotamus might be funny to look at with their chubby legs and round faces, they are notorious for getting violent with humans, and other animals for that matter. They are one of the most dangerous creatures in Africa, where they're native to. Just because they're herbivores doesn't mean you should let your guard down around a hippo, much less own one. 6. The serval. Servals are interesting when you consider the fact that they simultaneously look like wild cats and domestic cats put together. A serval is relatively medium-sized, so they do in fact lie somewhere in the middle of a domestic cat you're more used to seeing and a bigger wild cat like a leopard or lion, measuring up to 62 centimeters or 24 inches tall, with their maximum weight being around 19 kilograms or 40 pounds. They're said to not be dangerous in the same way their bigger relatives are, but like most animals that have a biological background of hunting and being in the wild, they might be a little more dangerous than your average cat, though it hasn't stopped people from owning and loving their pet serval. 5. The Burmese python. Whoever owns a Burmese python as a pet would need to have a lot of trust and no other pets around. If the fact that Burmese pythons can be up to 20 feet long and are capable of weighing over 200 pounds doesn't scare you, then you clearly don't scare easily. Aside from the size thing, you have to be really careful to not lose your pet Burmese and accidentally release it into the environment of where you live, since it can prove to be harmful to the ecosystem and wildlife in the areas they're not native to. 4. The capybara. Imagine a giant hamster, like a really giant hamster. And it's not so strange that people keep capybaras as pets. They're supposed to be very tame, if their laid-back stare didn't inform you of that already. Despite just looking like big rodents, which they actually are, capybaras are illegal to own in lots of places. So check the regulations for owning one where you live before you get all excited and buy a gigantic hamster wheel. 3. Piranhas. As long as you don't have a whole pool of them and you're super careful, it's maybe not that weird anyone would want a piranha as a pet. Even so, piranhas are said to not be as difficult to take care of as they seem. After all, most pet stores have a pet piranha you can readily take home, no matter how small they seem, and even if they're surrounded by their own kind, they will probably fight each other. 2. The hissing cockroach. Like owning a tarantula or scorpion, you might receive a few weird looks when you tell people you own a pet cockroach. Most of us think of those pesky cockroaches that invade cupboards and garages and just freak people out a lot. But apparently, the hissing cockroach is a really enjoyable pet to have. They're super active and not as docile as a well-treated tarantula might be, and are supposedly very entertaining to have around. They're also really delicate, as they're insects after all, so keep a tight lid on its home. 1. The squirrel monkey. These New World monkeys are popular as far as having a pet monkey goes. They're fast little guys that are also known to wash their hands with their own urine. So if that doesn't gross you out and you have the energy to keep up with them, the squirrel monkey might just be the pet for you. Back in the 60s, squirrel monkeys were really popular pets to have and were highly imported to the United States. Being social animals, if you just want a pet to lounge with you after a long day at work, you probably shouldn't get a monkey, if where you live even allows it anyway. Most places make it difficult for you to even own a dog.